try to
We're
make
out. Yeah, that is
every
correct.
advantage
So,
count. And
Wow!
and that, but there was no reaction from Devon, and he doesn't look right. To flame it up, massive drive! Enormous hit! And the first pin goes to the...
Devon got some purchase there. Devon got something going.
I'll tell you what, mate, I was about to say the same thing.
Devon, that hurt Devon. That actually,
was
I think that
dull.
actually hurt. That actually just went like his wrist just got ripped off.
Look at him now. There is something wrong. He's not counting Levan. He's staying away. He's checking his arm.
He felt something there.
He
right?
felt something, yeah.
Something happened there, because I was a bit concerned that Devon's bicep, something happened. The thing is, Ray, you're struggling to see a road back for Devon. And for all his courage, for all his bravery, and for all his versatility, you can't, there's no resting spot for
no
the
going.
one.
He cannot get going.
He can't breathe, he shuts it out.
As
He's
much
so
as he
aggressive.
did, he gave.
Unbelievable.
Levan Saginashvili there.
Overwhelming power with great arm wrestling
Go
technique
to Georgia.
and execution. He is the absolute pinnacle of our sport at this moment.
We're going to get a few words with our athletes. Canada's Mr. Devon Larratt. Come forward, brother.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, when there was a lot of things that went into the making this match. You never go into a match wanting to lose. I put my heart, my soul, my life into getting ready for Levan. What can I say? He's the pinnacle. He's Everest. I have no excuses. This is, without question, the strongest, best everything that I could have brought to the table.
I don't think that anybody in North America can. I mean, unfortunately, I know I'm strong. I know I am. There was no chance for me. A lot of guys who are like underneath Levan. There's a deeper field from 2 to 10 that is really more competitive. Hard to be. Jeez, I don't know if it. I don't know the Europeans well enough to know if anybody's got a shot with them. I don't know. I mean, look at if Dennis could come back, ridiculous. Maybe if Vitaly could really put his stuff together. Maybe Hermes. Maybe. He's incredible. What can I say? Incredible.
Morning after. Crazy night. Thanks so much for everybody who believes in me. I'm super sorry if I cost you money or anything like that. All I can say is I truly did give it my very best effort. Levan Saginashvili. Wow. Different level, man. Never felt anything like it. Nothing but respect for the champ, legacy hand holder, #1 arm wrestler in the world, and very funny and cool guy. Oh my God, I've got to come back down to reality a little bit. It's been a lot of fun.
I guess without further ado, I mean, let's do the honors. Levan, I joked that I would be your teacher on the table. Tonight, you are clearly my teacher. One of the great things is I wanted to make sure that this was in the right hands, and I knew long ago that it was a possibility, not just a possibility, but very likely that this hammer belongs in Georgia, with the king of Georgia, with the king of strength in the arm wrestling world, Levan Saginashvili. Thank you for letting me be part of your legacy.
This man is right on the top, and it will be very hard to find good challengers for him. But there's no doubt in my mind they will rise. They will rise to occasion. How long he will be the king, we will only know.
Now, as someone who is making an attempt to stay, let's call it neutral in this match, in respect to who I think is going to win, my gut feel, all those sorts of things, we can do technical analysis. We can dive into the reasons, the beliefs, the motivations behind these two athletes. But at the end of the day, you got to have a gut feel as to which way this is going to go. And if I am completely honest with you guys, I have to say I'm really torn. I'm really torn and I'm confused, and I don't know which part of my brain to believe. There have been multiple parts of my brain speak loudly in my consciousness in respect to this match over the last, I don't know, weeks, months, even over the last, almost go back a year. But, you know, I try to sit here and make sense of it and process what I'm thinking and validate those thoughts, and I can do it on both sides. And that's the problem I'm having. And this is, look, this is one of the reasons why we all love sport. This is one of the reasons why we love this match, is because we get to do this. We get to sit, we get to think, we get to argue with each other. Friendly banter, call it whatever you want, about who's going to win this match. Levan Saginashvili and Devon Larratt is one of, look, I don't even need to say that. It's not one of. It is the most talked about match. It was last time. It is this time. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for the arm wrestling world. And I don't know which side of my brain to believe. So I don't know. So in this video, I'm going to sort of unpack both sides of my brain. There'll be kind of arguments that you've probably seen and heard before when you look at forums, and whether you class yourself as a Devon fanboy or a Devon hater or somewhere in between, or a Levan fanboy or a Levan hater, somewhere in between. These arguments float around. We hear them. We listen to them. They make sense. But you have to pick one side, don't you? So by the end of this video, I don't know that I'm going to be any closer to having a locked-in prediction in my own head. But I'm going to try to lay some thoughts out and see if one of those sides makes more sense by the end of the video. Anyway, Devon and Levan, it's a big deal. Okay, so as we know, last time happened, and last time Levan was way too much. He dominated, he broke Devon, and it was pretty evident that Devon didn't have the physical strength to be in the fight. Didn't matter about technique, it didn't matter about endurance, didn't matter about anything, because Levan was just too strong. At the time, you would have gone on and safely assumed that that chapter was done, that door was closed, and probably won't ever reopen again. But Devon went on and had a 12 months that really did make us believe again. Now, Devon, as we know, he's been, for those that are critical of Devon, they'll say he avoided Europeans. They'll say he never pulled Zaplenkov. They'll say he hid in the WAL. They'll say whatever they say. But Devon in the last 12 months has really changed that. He's gone out there and really taken on the Europeans. So much so that he's become the East First West World Champion at the 115 and super heavyweight class. The only loss he's taken is Gennady Kvikvinia, which, in my opinion, and this might not be yours, but in my opinion, he lost that match because he played a little too much. I think he could have won that match had he have just put the sword to the match early and not talked and held and waited. Gennady's endurance surprised him. But that aside, he dominated Prudnik, he dominated Zaplenkov, and he dominated Hermes. Those three things there really did raise Devon up to a new level that made us think and feel like he's at the best he's ever been, and that he's better now than he was when he faced Levan. And the thing that is better in Devon, it's not big movement, raw horsepower. It's ugly arm wrestling specific stuff. Devon, I always use the analogy, or I feel I describe Devon as a tree root. The way that a tree root of a big oak tree or something like that twists into the ground and just takes hold and provides that anchoring strength to the tree. That's what Devon's arm reminds me of. I don't see Devon's arm as the big horsepower bicep, the big horsepower wrist flexion, but the knotted up, twisted, incredibly resilient tree root style. And that is what I feel dominated Hermes, dominated Prudnik, and dominated Dennis. That factor wasn't present when he faced Levan last time. That fact that Devon was, I feel Devon's King's move and Devon's pronation at center last time was nowhere near what it is now. I feel like last time Devon was a anchor the hand, drag with a flat palm kind of dude, which he was. Now I feel like Devon has an ability to twist up at the top, right at center, with significantly improved force. That torque at the top of the table is what dismantled Hermes from being able to even take a grip. It's what rolled through repeatedly against Denis Saplenkov. It's what made Prudnik look lost. That presence of the tree root strength is what makes me believe it's possible. It makes me believe he can win the top of the table. Now, I know. There is a big other side to this story. But let me just say, and I want to dig this side up a little further. I want to churn it up a little further before I move on. There was a time when Levan was out injured, when he was actually injured, and Devon was just on this rise. Whether it was stem cells, his new training, I don't know what, the all-in version, I don't know, whatever he's done, it looked amazing, and his development went to a level that there was a time when Levan was injured, when I personally was feeling not only will Devon win, but Devon will dominate, and Devon will hold center and height, and Levan's wrist will crack in round one. There was a time I was feeling that. But now, we're at a new time. And now there are other factors to consider. Now, before I get on to talking about Levan and all of the amazing factors that influenced me on his mind, I have to talk about a bit about just my own self-perception of those thoughts about Devon. There was, like I said, there was a time period where I was genuinely convinced in my mind that this is going to happen, that Devon's going to run away with it. That voice was pretty loud, and that voice was pretty convincing. It started to get to the point where I was thinking, wow, this is actually going to happen and it's for real. But then there is that other voice that pops up, and that voice really popped up once Levan started training again. And well, once Levan got out of movie mode, he was off making movies and he was injured, and it just didn't seem like he was the big, imposing dude. And Devon was crushing people. But then the focus returned, the training returned, the intent returned, and the size started being back on Levan. And the voice that was so chirpy before suddenly wasn't so chirpy anymore. And then the confusion starts setting in. But anyway, let's now talk a bit about why Levan will win, or why it would make sense to believe Levan will win. And then we'll try to add it all up together. Okay, so the great and mighty Levan. Levan really is the most physically phenomenal arm wrestler we've seen in the sport. His wrist size is beyond ridiculous. I think I heard, I could be wrong, but I think I heard the other day Levan's wrist is 11 inches. Okay. Go to a watch dealer and they'll say a 7-inch wrist is a large wrist. An arm wrestler will have an 8-inch wrist if he's got a big wrist. Okay, Levan has an 11-inch wrist. Things like that. The sheer mass of Levan, I know he peaked, I think the heaviest he's been is 180 kilos. I'm not sure what he'll be for this match. But the volume of mass through his forearm and wrist are so significant that the strength accompanied with that difficulty and wrist size for his opponents. Because you've got to remember, the wrist size really creates a problem for the opponent. It doesn't necessarily mean your wrist is phenomenally strong, but the wrist thickness makes it harder for your opponent to disengage or deal with your wrist because they have to hold on to that thing. So, Levan, like I said, Levan won really convincingly last time. He won in such a manner where he just broke Devon. And in doing so, he established his dominance. He's clearly the number one. That was the feeling that we all had. The injury and the lack of competition for Levan made some people start to question it, myself included. Were his motivations there? Was his physical training and arm wrestling specific training present enough during his time doing Chris Hemsworth movies, etc., which would have taken a lot of energy. It seemed like Levan was risking his place as the number one in doing so. But upon agreement of this match at East First West for the world title, we've seen Levan start to train again. Now, when Levan starts to train again, we've seen him throw around 70 kilos, where that was Devon's maximum. He picked it up with ease, doing Devon's lift. So he showed that he has the static pronation or superior static pronation to Devon already, even though that is not his game. Levan's game is a completely different shape to Devon. He arm wrestles much more in a fundamental top roll sense with back pressure, with rise, with cup, and with pronation. His sequences are explosive, and the bigger he gets from the shoulder forward to the hand, the more that voice, that drum, that Georgian drum gets louder. And the more the voice that I was talking about Devon with before starts to shy away and starts to think, what am I doing? The way I feel about this match on the Levan side is that Levan will wreck Devon. Levan will walk in and once again break Devon. That side of my thought seems like the safe option. It seems like it. The option that knocks on the door on the other side seems like the long shot, the risk. Getting predictions right is never easy in sport. The favorite has the pressure, and Levan is that man. Levan is the favorite. Levan has the pressure. Levan hasn't crumbled under that pressure in any circumstances yet, but it's never easy to do that job. Levan carries that. Devon knows that. Devon thrives in that. Devon probably only needs a quarter of a glimpse in the match to really ramp up with words, to really ramp up with theatrical, what do we call it, gamesmanship, that drags things out, that puts that wedge in that little crack, as Devon likes to call it, and exploits it. Devon does have better endurance. Devon does have better aerobic capacity. Devon does have more options technically than Levan. And that, look, now I'm starting to get back into the Devon side. The other thing about Levan is that he may possess weapons we don't even know exist yet. I've never seen Levan flop press, but I would bet that he could, especially on the world title match. If Devon had stopped in a King's move and Levan's wrist cracks, a lot of us have made the assumption Devon wins from there. But is Levan willing to just say, oh, well done, you've cracked my wrist and I can't pin you with my top roll? Well, guess what? I've never done this before in a match, or I've never needed to, but hey, I've got it up my sleeve and you didn't know about it. Bang, flop press. Does that exist? I think it could. I haven't seen it, but I would be so surprised if that didn't exist. And that, to me, could be a natural progression. Yes, that would mean Devon is closer than last time. He stopped his top roll. But can he stop a top roll followed by a flop press? Surely not. Surely not. It's a confusing match. I don't know what to think. Ultimately, I feel really good about taking the new policy in my content creation where I'm not going to give predictions. So you're not going to get a conclusion from me in this match. But what you are going to get from me is I'm going to fully think about things, and I'm going to fully give you my understanding and technical analysis when it's time. As we get closer to this match, we're gonna pick up on more signals from both of these guys. We're gonna pick up on who's nervous, who's under pressure, who believes in themselves. 45 days out or whatever we are, I think both of them believe in themselves enough. Levan is the favorite. I think we all agree and establish that. But Devon's a very dangerous underdog, a very dangerous one, and I look forward to reading your comments, because your comments I know are going to be passionate. When I see people comment about this match, they fire up. The Levan believers will absolutely ridicule and trash anyone who says otherwise, and the people who believe in Devon will say, just wait and see, you're in for a shock. Now, of course, only one of us can be right, or it could be a really balanced match, but the thing is, the belief on either side is really, really significant. And I try to sit on this middle ground as an objective observer of the sport. I understand arm wrestling. I understand how it feels. I understand how to plan for it. I understand how to read people's physicality. Now, I believe both men believe they can win this match. I see the paths for each of them, and they're very viable. They're very doable. I can see it, I can feel it, I can see the emotions of it all happening and unfolding. And if it does go that way, boy, oh boy, are we in for a treat and a spectacle as fans of the sport. What a match this will be. I heard Engin Terzi say it the other day that it's the match of the century. Well, I do agree, it's the match of the century for the moment. Until something else monstrous comes along, this is the match of the century. And it's a treat for us as arm wrestling fans. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my waffle. I'm no closer to knowing which side's going to win. And I don't know if you are either. But let me know. Do you have certainty in your prediction? If you do, good luck. Anyway, thanks for watching.